Hey everyone, John Poddick with the Mojave Valley Daily News. This is our regular Wednesday at 4 o'clock Q&A session. Today I have the privilege of introducing you to Mark Clark. How you doing, Mark?
Good afternoon.
Mark is the new Bullhead City Utility Director, as I'm hoping that all of you know. I've known you now for about 15, 16 years,
Yeah, it's
something
been a
like
while.
that. We both worked for the same company down in Fort Mojave that we'll not speak of right now. But over the years, I think I've seen more stuff with you once you really got into the water side of it. But when I pulled up your resume today, I was like, holy cow. All right, so he will ultimately be overseeing the water and the wastewater utilities in the city. But listen to this. He is the Vice Chair of the Arizona Water Banking Authority, the Chairman of the Mojave County Water Authority. He's on the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and the Budget and Finance Committees of the Agribusiness and Water Council of Arizona, Vice Chairman of the Mojave County Industrial Development Authority, a member of the Colorado River Water Users Association, a member of the National Water Resources Association, a member of the Arizona Water Association, and was the Bullhead City Water Advisory Committee. Now with your new position, that has been disbanded.
Correct.
And in your free time, you owned a company that you got to kind of step away from now. But
Right.
And you were on city council.
For 13 years.
Did you get any time to sleep, or pretty much just
Oh, yeah, once in a while. Once a week I got a little nap.
got a couple hours? Good. Well, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
I was reading your stuff. Obviously, I've known you, so I know that you're more than qualified to be in the position. But hearing the other people that you've added as well, were you involved with their hiring, or did you know them? Or?
Yes, I've known Marty for probably 12 to 15 years as well, maybe a little longer. She's got a fantastic background. She used to teach engineering over at the Northern Arizona University. She's got her PhD in engineering, civil engineering. She used to work for the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. She's got great credentials. She knows the rules inside and out. She's the deputy director of the Bullhead City Utilities Division, and she will have responsibility for the water and wastewater operations, as well as our water quality, our SCADA operations. So she's got her plate full, and she's doing a great job getting involved with all of our wastewater stuff now as we move into taking over the water operations from EPCOR.
So she right now is working on the wastewater side.
She is.
Okay.
She is. We've got a lot of things going on that side. I know everybody's talking about EPCOR and what that's going to do and how that's going to affect us, but we've got a lot of stuff going on the wastewater side as well.
Well, here's what I have on her. Experience includes working as utility authority director for the Yavapai Apache Nation for 6 years, 4 years with the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, which are the same people that oversee the water quality testing and all that, correct?
On both the water and wastewater side.
Okay. She's a field engineer with a bachelor's degree in biology and chemistry. She has a master's degree in environmental toxicology / environmental science, and she has her doctoral degree in civil engineering.
Yes.
Very
qualified.
Other than that, she's not really qualified, right? Holy cow.
She's fantastic. I really feel fortunate to have been able to convince her to come out here to Bullhead. She moved out here from Cottonwood.
Oh.
And so I'm very, very pleased that she decided to come with us.
Okay, she's all signed up and brought on contracts are all sealed.
Yeah, we started the same day,
Good.
May 3rd. Both of us started.
Good, 'cause with
Actually, Jigger started May 3rd as well.
With the heat coming this weekend, I don't want her to change her mind. So.
No. She's been out here. Actually, when she was with ADEQ, she did a lot of our inspections out here.
Oh, good.
So
all right,
she's
so
used
she's
to the
familiar with
area.
the system. All right, so you mentioned Jigger. He's the city engineer / assistant utility director. His background includes 7 years as senior project engineer and manager at Waterworks Engineers, and 3 years as senior project manager for Stantec, an international design and consulting firm. He's a registered civil engineer with 22 years of experience, a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering, and a master's degree in civil engineering / environmental.
Yeah.
Also, seems
Awesome
very
individual.
qualified.
Very qualified.
Maybe overqualified?
No, not
Okay.
overqualified, but he's very, very qualified. I couldn't have, if I was to build a dream team, I couldn't have picked better people than what we have.
It's awesome. It's very impressive. I know that's just the first 3. You've got a pile more that'll be coming on. I think I had read 20 people or 22 people that you're expecting.
Yeah, we're looking
something
at
like that.
24 additional
24.
hires for various positions in water, water quality, electrician. So we've got quite a few other positions that we still need to fill. And we'll be working through that over the next couple of months, bringing all those folks on.
All right, so let's talk about the duties of the utility director. This is something that was just created. We never had one before.
No.
Did you and Toby sit down, or did Toby sit down and figure out what those things were going to be, or did you say, "Hey, Mark, I would like you to run this, write out what your scope of work or your
It was pretty
position is
much,
gonna entail.
Mark, here, get this thing working.
Go take care of it"?
So, and I'd already run, prior to coming on as the utilities director, I ran the water operations here when it was owned by Citizens and American Water, which anybody that's been here a long time will remember Citizens and Arizona American Water. I was the operator, or I was the manager of the operations at that time. So I'm familiar with the system and what's there. EPCOR's obviously made a lot of additions to the system since I was running it, but the basic things are still there. And
that was the system that is up now. I think it's referred to as North Mojave.
no,
Is that right?
actually, that was owned by John McCormick.
Okay.
So that's a fairly new piece for EPCOR.
Okay. So what? I mean, we know that eventually the whole EPCOR thing is going to be handled, and we'll be taking care of that. We're just getting through the process now. But you've already started working on the wastewater side.
Yes.
Is that correct?
We're also working on a lot of the stuff on the water side because we need to start laying the groundwork so that we have a good base to start from, a good solid foundation to build from. And there's a lot of things on the water side that we can start working on right now today. For example, what I've said repeatedly to the council members, the mayor, Toby, anybody that will listen to me, I've been telling them not to really expect any changes in year 1, because year 1 is the year we build our map. If you're going on a trip, you're leaving from here and going to Chicago, you pull out your road map or you pull out your GPS and you map your way to get there. Well, that's what we will be building this first year. We will be building that road map. It's called a water master plan, and we will be spending a lot of time and a lot of money to develop that water master plan, which will include GPS locating all of our facilities. It will be building a topological map of all of the water system within the city limits. We'll be able to do hydraulic modeling with that new map that we create. We will be able to do a maintenance management program from that map. We will be able to do planning, future planning. For example, we've got all this building going on along the parkway. You've got Fox Creek, which is going crazy up there, Laughlin Ranch.
All of them seem
So
like they're going
what we
crazy
need
up
to
there.
do is we need that road map to show us. So in Fox Creek, when they're putting water lines in, do we want them to put in a 6-inch line, an 8-inch line? Is that going to be large enough to pick up all of that flow that we expect to come from upstream from that?
When that building is finally done,
Exactly.
not where it's at today.
Because otherwise, what we would have to do is tear those old pipes out once we build the new stuff because they weren't large enough. So we don't want to do that.
All right, that's a great point. I've had some discussion with some of the upper level guys in the fire department, and they talk about the lines going into, I think it's Old Bullhead here, how they're not sized properly.
Yes, unfortunately, and this is really nobody's fault. Back years ago, ADEQ's minimum requirements, were a 4-inch line.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in today's world, that's not quite large enough. You can't put a fire hydrant on a 4-inch line. So what we will be doing is we will be replacing all of that 4-inch line over the next few years and putting in larger pipe. The minimum pipe size they allow now, ADEQ allows, is a 6-inch pipe. but we don't want to just go in there and put in a bunch of 6-inch pipe everywhere because we don't know.
And next
Does it
year it
really
could
need a
change.
6-inch,
Oh.
or do we need an 8-inch or a 10-inch?
Yeah.
So again, our map will show us what we need to put in those places.
And I guess that's the benefit of having these people with so much engineering background. in it.
Exactly. And Jigger, what really benefits us is having Jigger with us, because one of his jobs working for Stantec was doing water master plans.
Oh, yeah?
So
Oh,
we've got the
perfect.
right guy here to work on our water master plan because he's done them. And so we've really got a great team here between myself, Marty, and Jigger. We really have a great team. And then we've got 2 other managers in our group, Jason Duquet and Ryan Furnell. Ryan Furnell has actually been with the city. I think he's been with us about 14 years. Great guy. He's going to be the manager of our construction group, which will be responsible for all of the construction for water and wastewater.
Oof.
And Jason's going to be our operations manager, so he'll be underneath Marty, but working on the water and wastewater, overseeing all of those operating folks.
Okay. Are those the 2? I mean, is that really it? Under utilities is going to be just water and wastewater?
No, engineering, Jigger
And
will be
engineering.
underneath our department too, our utilities division as it's being known.
Right. Have you had a chance to, not necessarily for size, but have you had a chance, to me, from what I understand, the biggest issue that we're having right now is leakage.
Yes.
Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah, and again, I'm going by the records that the city has pulled together, and they say that they're seeing 2 leaks a day. Some of them small, some of them large. So we will be addressing that. But again, all we're going to be doing is the repairs this first year.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do any improvements to the system until we have that roadmap and we know what we're doing.
Doesn't really make any sense to improve this line.
When we may need to tear it out next year.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Have you had a chance to check the condition of the infrastructure, or did you already know the condition of the infrastructure?
Well, we really haven't had a chance. I mean, there was kind of when Reftilis was doing their analysis early on to determine what the system was like and what it was valued
Value
at.
was.
There was kind of a cursory review of the system. We don't have access to the system at this point. So one of the first things we will do, and I've already talked to Marty and Jigger about this, and what we will be doing is we will be doing an evaluation of the system once we take over the operation. So we will be going over it with a fine-tooth comb. Now, some of it, like the water lines that are in the ground, the valves, it's going to take us a long time to figure out what kind of shape those are in because
Yeah.
they're underground. But the reservoir sites, the well sites, the booster station sites, all those things that are above ground, we'll be able to visually inspect those
Once you
and
take
put
that
some pressure gauges out there and start inspecting those things. We've also been working with the fire marshal, and she's been very helpful in letting us know some of the issues that she has with some of the hydrants and things. So we'll be addressing those as we move forward.
Good, and that's, I think, one of the things that I really appreciate is that we have the fire department and now the utilities department working side by side on the fire department saying these are the problems we're having, we need help with it, rather than going outside of the government to a privately held company and saying, hey, we need your help on getting these things handled when the timeline that they have may not meet yours.
Well, and I don't know what other priorities EPCOR had, so
Oh,
I don't want
100%.
to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
whether they were not doing anything that they should have, but because I don't know what their priorities were. But one of the things that we've done is in our new organizational structure is one of the positions we have is a fire hydrant maintenance technician. So that person, we will have one person dedicated to inspecting, flow testing, repairing, maintaining all of the fire hydrants in the city. So, because, first responders, fire protection is very important. So,
Yeah.
and we believe, and we're putting the importance of that by having an employee that will be dedicated to maintaining that portion of the operations.
Yeah, and that's great to hear because I know that that's been, and I wasn't implying that EPCOR was doing something wrong, or it wasn't. It was just that when you have two groups that are basically in the same building or in the same community here working together versus trying to get something done remotely. I know that Larry had asked about, he's my boss, so I should probably jump to him. He had asked about the 50-year plan for water, and you and I talked a little bit about it. We know that we are roughly using 50% of the water, Bullhead City, just Bullhead City, roughly using 50% of the water that we have allocated for the area. With the growth that we've been seeing over the last couple of years, are you at all concerned about 50 years from now where we're going to be at?
Not at all. We've really been fortunate here in this community. We've had some individuals that lived here. Tom Griffin, I don't know, any of you that have been here forever probably remember Tom Griffin. He did a lot of work for Don Laughlin. Well, he was really involved in water and obtaining additional water resources for this community early on. He was one of my mentors, and I learned a lot from Tom. And Tom, Fred Lamb, a lot of these people that have been here a while, they saw the need for us to go out and look for additional water resources. The city originally got a contract of 15,000 acre feet of water, and that was great, but it wasn't enough to build out our city. We've got enough land here, and if you look at the city's general plan, you'll see the general plan calls for a build out of the city to about 110,000 people. We have enough water entitlement now because of people like Fred and Tom Griffin and others that came after them, like myself and Dave Evans, that worked to make sure that we would have the water resources. Because when you're talking about water, there's really kind of two main areas. There's the entitlement side, in other words, the rights to use the water, and then there's the operation side, which actually gets the wet water to the homes. So we have the entitlement side covered now. We've got enough water with the anticipated amount of effluent reuse water that we will have for like the green belts and things, right, for a population of 110,000. So we've got enough water to meet the needs of the city at its build out right now today. We need to maintain and protect that water supply so that nobody takes any of that away and then
that's perfect. Carries me right into my next question for you.
But we are in really good shape right now because, again, those people that helped us move along got us to where we are. So we're good on the entitlement side. So I have no issues on that side.
Before I get into the question, David Abeda asked interaction with the county for those of us not in Bullhead. I don't really understand what you mean. He's going to mark as the Bullhead City's utility guy. I'm not sure what you mean as far as interacting with the county. So if you could give me a little bit more information, David, I'll certainly ask Mark that.
I got a question.
Yep.
Over here on YouTube.
Okay.
All right. We got a question saying, is the pumping motor going to be able to push the flow of water? Or are they going to need a bigger pipe, or will they need to upgrade?
The pumping motor.
Well, I'm not sure what pumping motor. Typically, what we call booster stations are what pumps the water from downhill to uphill within the water system. And again, until we get that master plan completed, we may need to put additional boosters in the system. The water system here in Bullhead tends to be a high-pressure system, what we consider a high-pressure system in the water business. Because what you're looking at is you're looking to be somewhere around 30 to 50 PSI is usually a safe range. Some of the areas here in Bullhead run as high as in the 90s, 90 PSI. And that's why there's a requirement here in the city by EPCOR, and the city will take that requirement and require it as well, to have a PRV, which is basically a pressure-reducing valve on their homes so that if the pressure gets too high, it doesn't blow out
the
fixtures.
PVC pipes out.
Exactly. So that is a requirement. I've got one on my home. I live here in Bullhead. I've always had one on my home, and every couple of years you need to replace them, unfortunately, because the water here is hard water. Right. And so that's just part of the maintenance of your home. But we have very good pressure in most of the areas within the city.
All right. That answers the question, I believe.
Pumping it uphill probably won't put that much of a stress on it. So
might need a little upgrade, he said. Yeah.
The Arizona Department of Water Resources, Tom Bushotsky, they've been really involved. I know that when you were the manager down at the MVIDD, we talked quite a bit with him. I know that when you opposed the Queen Creek transfer, we dealt with him. There's been several times where we sat in front of him and begged for him not to transfer water off the river into central Arizona. Do you think that in your position as the utility director that you're going to carry more weight with them now? I mean, does it matter, or is this because he's the chair? That's just how.
I don't think it'll carry any more weight than it did before. I think it will carry the same amount of weight, honestly, because of the organizations I'm involved in. And Tom Bushatsky is actually chairman of the Water Bank, and I'm the vice chairman. So as the director of DWR, he's the chairman of that organization, and several others. But we're going to still continue to oppose the Queen Creek transfer, or any transfer off the river. We oppose the MVIDD transfer. We oppose the quartzite transfer. We're going to continue to oppose this one. It will be going, because they haven't issued a job yet to the director of the Bureau of Reclamation, or the regional office here in Boulder City for the Lower Colorado River region area. They're waiting for those positions to be filled, and then they'll be proceeding on that Queen Creek transfer, and we will continue to oppose it at the federal level.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess that's getting away from what your position is here, but.
That's still part of my position, is still water resource issues and protecting our water that's here on the river. Because, if Queen Creek gets to transfer water off the river, we need to be even more vigilant that they don't come after our water. Because, camel's nose under the tent, you never know whose water they could be coming after. And I don't want them coming after any of the water here in Bullhead City.
Camel's nose under the tent. That's perfect. Once you get that nose in, then it's over.
Exactly.
I'm a little confused about the Franchise Licensing Committee. The Franchise Licensing Committee, I believed EPCOR reported to them, along with Suddenlink and Frontier and everybody else. Now with this, when the purchase goes through or when it gets turned over, I guess we're pretty close to it being turned over now that they've established the bond.
Yeah, now that we know what the bond amount is, we are working through the process. Our city manager, Toby Cotter, along with our attorney, Garn Emery, are kind of leading it from the city's end, and I am participating, obviously, in that. We're working, and Rudy Vera, we're all working on different components of that so that we can get the total amount that we need to issue for that bond.
Once that bond is sold, then you guys get the keys.
Once that bond is issued, then and we deposit those funds, then we can take over any time after that.
Okay.
And that should happen over the next month or two.
Okay. All right. So when that happens, then does that mean that because so the Franchise Licensing Committee would take complaints and speeches and everything else from all the utilities, and then all the franchise utilities, and then make the report to the city? Well, with you working directly for the city, I'm guessing that goes away then. Is that right?
Well, for the water and sewer.
For water,
I mean, the Franchise License Committee will still be there, and it'll still be overseeing the entities, the utility companies that have franchises within the city, like you named. It's just that the water and sewer will be directly, those people will be able to come directly to the city with their issues.
Okay. So David asked, is he going to interact with the county? So I'm assuming, I mean, again, as Bullhead City's director, but you're still involved with the county as the county water authority and the different positions that you hold as well. You'll be conversing with the Board of Supervisors and helping with some stuff up on the county level, correct?
Well, it really, I'm not quite understanding the question. I mean, yeah, we work with the county. We have the flood control districts that are countywide. We get funds from the county for our flood control projects here in the city. On the water side, the county really doesn't have any water entitlements. So the county doesn't have water to issue, like the city has a water entitlement that we parse out. MVIDD has a water entitlement they parse out. Lake Havasu has a water entitlement. And there are other entities within the county that have water entitlements.
Because they're tied to the water. They don't have the big, what is it, the big underground reservoir?
Oh, yeah, we don't have any. Well, actually, in the Sacramento Basin, which is Golden Valley, there's a huge water reservoir under there. There's a lot of groundwater there in the Sacramento Valley.
but that's also up in Golden Valley.
Right, that's up in Golden Valley.
Kingman, they have that as well. All right, so because they have that up there, they don't have the water entitlement. They have whatever water
They
is
have
in the
whatever
ground.
groundwater is,
Okay.
yes. So you only have the water entitlements along the river here. The others are groundwater, and so we do work with the county. We participate with them. They've been great partners on working to fight this Queen Creek transfer and the other two transfers as well. We work with them through the Mojave County Water Authority, which is a 7-member organization that covers Mojave County. It includes the cities of Bullhead, Havasu, Kingman. It includes Mojave County. It includes Golden Shores Water Improvement District. So we've got a 7-member group that is all working together to support these different things. And so we do work with the county, but as far as from an operational side, we don't get involved with anything that they're doing. The only really water they have is the Golden Valley Domestic Improvement District there. And there are some other small private water companies within the county, but they all are overseen by the ACC or the communities.
Our favorite people, the ACC. Yeah, so you don't hold any kind of supervisory position with any of them.
No.
They may ask for your help on.
Yeah,
or
and we're
your
more than willing to help them
opinion on
out
things.
if they need some assistance. But,
Are they in pretty good shape up there in Kingman, Golden Valley right now?
Well, Golden Valley is actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, Kingman, because of all the agricultural things going on up in the Red Lake area, which is part of the Wallapai Basin, that basin has the limited amount of water available to it. So, and that's where Kingman gets the bulk of its water. So they are, looking at various ways to try and reduce water use up there through conservation and other things. They're also looking at ways to maybe curtail some of that ag use up there to try and protect that
Like
aquifer.
fallowing?
Like fallowing, but
Aquifer, that's the word I was trying to think of.
Oh.
Aquifer.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, that aquifer has, by some estimates, 50 to 60 years of life left. So that's not a whole lot of time.
No.
So they're they need a little help.
Well,
And they tried. Representative Cobb was working on some legislation to help them out, but unfortunately, it didn't get heard this year. So.
well, that's pretty tough. I think that's everything I got. You get any more?
No, he pretty much
Answered
answered
that
the
question?
questions that were asked. Like if someone wanted to know about the water quality, improving it or maintaining it, and he already talked, covered a little bit of that.
We had talked about that as this whole EPCOR thing was going on. People were asking if that was going to make our water better, but you're really limited as far as what you can do to the water. I mean, you can only do so much to it. It's still river water, correct?
Water quality is tough here because of the way our ground has so many minerals in it. It's just hard water. So you could treat the water, but if we did wellhead treatment, they would be probably stringing me up from a pole somewhere because it would get so expensive.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to treat at each one of those wellheads. It's not like we have a centralized water system where we're taking river water like they do across the river and down in Havasu where they got their rainy collector. We don't have a surface water treatment plant. If we did that, then we could actually improve the water quality and send it out through the system instead of having it come through wells. But for right now, we're going to chlorinate just like EPCOR does, so the water will be safe to drink. I come from northwest Indiana originally where we had Lake Michigan water, which was nice, soft, really clean tasting water. So this water has a funny taste to me. And I know a lot of people came here from other areas. And so the water tastes a little different because when you go from place to place, it has different minerals in the water, which gives it a little bit different taste. And you get used to a certain type of taste when you're growing up. And I know people that lived here for many, many years that don't think the water tastes bad. So, it's all personal preference, but it doesn't mean the water is unsafe. It just means that it has different minerals that give you a little different taste.
You don't even have to go to other states. If you drive from here down into Fort Mojave Valley, the water's different down there.
Yeah,
So,
they've got different problems down there than
well,
what we have up here.
I-
There's a lot of iron and manganese in the water down
I
there.
have a real problem keeping my pool clean down there. So if you have any
Move up to Bullhead
suggestions- yes, yes. All right, you got anything else, Jeff?
I think that's it. We
All
nailed
right.
it.
Well, Mark, congratulations. I think
Thank you.
that I think that between reading your resume and then knowing you for this time and seeing the people that you have with you as well, I think that we're really in good hands. I look forward to see what you get done over the next few years anyway, and I'm a little disappointed that you are going to do that and not run for mayor of Bullhead City the next time it comes up, but whatever. That's what you want to do, I guess. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tomorrow on Valley Voices, we will have Mayor Brady on here. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock is Valley Voices. Remember, tomorrow morning at 7:30. Every morning, Monday through Friday at 7:30 is our daily dose. So tune in and check us out tomorrow morning. And if you can't make that, we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock for Valley Voices with Mayor Brady.
Thanks,
We'll
John.
see you, everyone.
Thanks, Mark.